X's and T podcast fans, it's Danny here. And let me tell you, I have some information that is going to knock your socks off. Like we're talking, this is so juicy that we had to jump on a call and get this episode recorded as soon as possible. And guess what? We are exposing, like truly exposing Worldwide Dream Builders that is an affiliation of Amway. Let me start by saying this is all information that was given to us anonymously. This is, again, based on opinions. This is based on other people's opinions, other people's information. Anything and everything we talk about is alleged from an anonymous source. Again, if you want to join Worldwide or Amway, we are not telling you not to. We are just expressing our opinions and giving information that we believe is important for people to make an educated decision. This is a no way against Amway. Amway is just a distribution company. My beef is with Worldwide Dream Builders, all those other LOAs of Amway. So do not come for me. Don't sue me. I am just speaking my truth and speaking the truths that other people bring to me. So with that being said, I have brought back once again our good Canadian friend, Hope. What's up, Hope?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey. So you have to tell me how this happened.
Yeah, so I was just chilling and I got an Instagram follow request and I was like, oh, I'm getting famous. Thank you. No, just kidding. But I got this Instagram follow request from this person that was from my Canadian market. So they reached out and they just said, hey, heard your episode. Just want to let you know, like what you said meant a lot to me, like helped me process things that I needed to process. And yeah, that's how she did that. So yeah, we had a lot of mutual, we had one mutual upline, if that makes sense. So, but very different affiliations. So there were some things that I got to find out.
Yes. And you, not only did you tell me, you're like, hey, you'll never guess what I just got. This girl reached out to me and was like, hey, I just wanted to let you know, I was talking to Hope. I have this information and I would love it if you could share this on your podcast as long as everything is anonymous and we use aliases. And let me fucking tell you, we jumped on a call almost immediately. Like this happened last night. We scheduled for the next day. Like here we are because we have screenshots from a third-party source that was sent to this person who reached out to us. So we are just going to call this person who reached out to us B. B is in the same line of affiliation as Hope, as in they have one mutual upline, which is Dawn and Mary, right?
Dawn and Mary, that's right. Big Canadian guys.
Okay, so B, her line of affiliation kind of deviates from Dawn and Mary, where Hope and Fisher were downline of Nolan and Brienne, which is the diamonds that broke underneath Dawn and Mary. If you're from the area, you know who we're talking about, but you might not. That's up for debate. So the screenshots that we received, you'll never guess what this shit says. I mean, honestly, so if we go back a couple of episodes, you will know that we have been alleging that we personally believe that the upline are getting paid on the apps more so than they are from the Amway Corporation. One more time for everybody in the back, if you didn't hear me, this is all alleged. This is information that was given to us that we would like to share. So don't fucking sue me. But your people need to know that this could be going on because apparently there's no disclosures, or at least none that we know of. I mean, when we were in Hope, I mean, you can attest to this. How often were we told speakers are not paid? They are giving us their time away from their children, dedicated to helping us.
They're paying for fuel. They're paying for babysitters. They're doing this stuff. They are doing it out of the goodness of their heart. Maybe for board plans. Like, I get that. You know, like board plans, like we don't have to pay for board plans, but we had to pay for the bigger functions. We had to pay for the conference centers we use, the hotels we use. That was the excuse, at least, is that's why we were paying, was for the building.
Yeah.
And it was $10 a person starting. I don't know if it was the same for you guys.
I know what it is now.
It's 15. Right?
It is 20 now. And in the US, on the US side, somebody posted in the Facebook group that it is now 20 for the first session and 20 for the second session for rallies.
I was going to say regional rallies have to be $80 for a couple.
Yeah.
Dawn and Mary had 2,000 people in their organization. Like some quick maths there. Dude, okay, hold on. What's 8 times 2016 something.
That's a lot of fucking money.
Yeah. What was it?
Well, and if you
160,000. And they
so
take the money. That's
imagine
the thing. Allegedly.
they take it
Sorry.
cash. No, but it's a fact that at the door when you're paying for rallies, I don't know if it's the same in Canada, but we had to pay cash. We were
we
not
did.
allowed to pay with our card. So could some of it be going to the room that they're renting? Sure, absolutely. But with how many people are walking through those doors, where the fuck is that money going? And I never once, when I was in the business, stopped to think, where's this money going? My guest Meredith, who was a part of Brit Worldwide, they had weekly meetings and they charged for all of those weekly meetings. We were lucky. Our board plans our board plans were free. They in Brit Worldwide had $7 a week meetings to go to. I was fucking shocked when I heard that. But as far as worldwide goes, you have to think about it. Where is all this money going? What are we told? We're told this is going to run the apps. This is going to run worldwide, the worldwide building, Hope, let's give the folks a little bit of insight. What information was alleged to us?
Yeah. So I'm going to paraphrase here, but basically the beginning of the messages that I received was from a third party. So we have B and then a third party reached out to B, and these are the screenshots between them. So B asked this third party, were you ever able to let off the gas? Were you ever able to stop hustling, especially when you became a Double Eagle Ruby? I don't know if you want to say what a Double Eagle Ruby is before I continue, but
oh yeah, okay. So again, with Worldwide, they have their own recognition. So Eagle is 6 people wide, Double Eagle is 12. So for them to be considered a Double Eagle Ruby, that is specifically Worldwide saying that they reached the Amway Ruby pin, but they did it with worldwide recommendation of 12 people wide. Hope that makes sense.
And that's basically like what they taught us to get to was Double Eagle Ruby, because they said after you get there, your business will just start kind of growing and duplicating that way, and you'll end up getting platinum legs. So like that's where you aim for Double Eagle Ruby. That's where you want to be, or 20 wide, either, like whatever.
Basically, it's all a numbers game. They always say, well, you'd rather have 12 people doing X amount of like 200 or 300 PV, right? And they're just going to duplicate that downwards. And then essentially they say, show the plan and you'll coast to diamond from Double Eagle Ruby. So that is what 15,000 PV Amway. So that is their recognition. That is their pin level. That is the point value that you're achieving in your business. So in theory, this is you having gotten to this point from all of your downline selling all of their Amway products. As we have heard in previous episodes from people who are in Worldwide, we at the time were told to buy our 200 PV, right? And then now we have also heard that in recent time, since COVID, because things have quote changed, they now have to push retail volume. But under the radar, allegedly, Upline are telling their IBOs, hey, just create a customer account and go buy your PV that way. You guys, this kind of shit is shady, but wait till you hear what Hope has to say, because these screenshots are damning.
So basically these guys went Double Eagle Ruby, which is like, again, everybody admires this pin. This is when you make $120,000 a year. Like you're taking home 120, okay? Allegedly, like that's like what they teach, right? It was 120.
Yeah.
So,
well, and also real quick on that, that's from Amway. They're saying they make $120,000 per Amway's compensation plan. That is a very important key here once we move forward.
Yes, absolutely. This person just says 12 legs. So they were in a basement for 25 days a month, plus all the trainings, plus all the hours. So when I was in Nolan retired at Double Eagle Ruby, and I was like thinking about it, and I was like, well, I guess you have to. If you're doing board plans that much and that much Kate, you can't have a full-time job. Like that makes no sense.
That is a full-time job.
Then this person goes on to talk about, then they learned about the hidden money from Premier membership, and they were sad because they didn't want to make money off of their team like that. They'd rather them save money because everybody's broke on building the business. So why are they taking money from Premier membership? So function costs, all this stuff. And like me and Danny talked about this before we started, but like nobody really would have had that big of an issue of compensation, I don't think, because we're all in it for the good fight of helping people and wanting to be better. We wouldn't have cared if they made money off of Worldwide, so why were they hiding that? That's what I feel like is the most, like one of the most painful things about finding this stuff out is like you thought maybe these people were somewhat genuine, like maybe they had an okay agenda behind them, but this just proves, like allegedly proves that they were making money. Like Dawn made $2 million in a year, and 50% of it was allegedly from Worldwide, not Amway.
That's insane. Let's unpack that for a minute. So when you're in this business, you are told from the get-go that you are leveraging the Amway Corporation, that this has everything to do with the products of Amway, that Worldwide, that all you're paying is this $120 for your overhead, and that all of Worldwide is purely just a training mentorship organization. All of the upline, they are just speaking into because of the goodness of their hearts. Now, I have to agree with you, Hope. If they came out and said that they were making a portion on the apps, like that makes sense. I mean, you see YouTubers who are getting paid off of their sponsorships. Like no one is upset that somebody else is making money. That just proves to us like, oh, if I pay my dues now, when I get to X level, I could also achieve that same income. I don't understand why on earth they would feel a need to hide that from us. Thinking now about all of the money that they told us that they had to do. And if we remember in Jess's episode, Jess, the recent one that we had from Arizona, she had said that they had to start lowering their numbers because they were allegedly inflating the numbers.
Yeah.
This makes sense. Okay,
Yeah.
Go on, Hope. I'm sorry.
So I don't know how this is working. Like something is kind of wacky here. Somebody's fabricating numbers somewhere. You know what I mean? Like I know, like I've seen Dawn and Mary's house. I've seen the house they're building right now. It has a freaking basketball court in it. It's insane.
Yeah.
They make this money. They do. But like this is super alleged. I'm just pulling this out of my ass. But I don't know how much they're disclosing like of their income.
But it's true.
In Canada, at least, on this amount of income, you have to pay at least 50% tax. So you have to give away at least 50% of your income. So they have like a shit ton of write-offs. So like
they do. That is true too. I forgot about that.
Like part of their mortgage, part of their like everything is a write-off, phone bill, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So it would make sense if they were hiding some of this money or being fraudulent, and that's why they were hiding it from us too. Because I think what they assumed, allegedly, this is again strictly my opinion, is once you get to the point of platinum, which this third party has said you get $2 a month off of your entire team on Kate. Canadian, okay? Yeah, that's just Kate. When you're Q12 is $2.
So Q12, real quick, basically just means that you qualified as that PIN level for 12 months, which means you did not fall out of the qualification. All of you and your downline collectively had that Amway PV amount. So again, that's an Amway thing. Platinum is their PIN level. So Worldwide, again, all alleged, but if Worldwide is paying at that PIN level, it's because that's what they decided that people were going to start getting paid on. And they could have decided it on any PIN level. Taylor, his wife, the club owner. The club owner, they always said that they were making $1 million plus a year. Yeah. $1 million plus. They would say that you would make the low end of the Amway compensation plan if you suck. They're like, no, I can tell you we make well above this. And what's funny is they would never say just how much above, but they would always say we're at the higher end of this or we make well above this. Yeah. And it's really interesting now to hear $2 Canadian.
$1 Canadian is 76 cents American.
Okay. So let's say $1.50 at Q12 Platinum, and you have a multitude of downline because you obviously do if you're a platinum leg. That's so much. Okay, go on. How much does it go up?
So when you're platinum, you get $7 off of each premier member. So I think you get the $2 from Kate and $7 from premier member. This is just how I'm reading this. I don't know if that's...
That's $9 in IBO, $9 Canadian per IBO that you have in your platinum business. And you have to imagine 20 plus people in your business.
Yeah. So if you do the math, platinum is 7,500 PV. So that would be 75 legs at 100 PV. So it could be 30 legs at 200. Like it could be like whatever your organization is doing. So they can be a pretty big range of that, like how many people you have in your organization, like how much the $9 per person is going to be. But when you're Ruby, 15,000 PV, $14 you make off premium membership. And when you're Emerald, it's $21. I don't know about Sapphire. Sapphire is such a weird little, like nobody really talks about Sapphire. And then when you become Diamond, you get it all. That's spooky.
I'm speechless. I mean, I'm not, because let me fucking tell you. That is, so you get your entire business's money from Premier membership, allegedly. That's like $120 a person at
Yeah.
Diamond. And you imagine that these Diamonds have hundreds of people in their organizations, you guys.
Don and Mary
none
had
of this-
2,000.
Oh my God. So that is crazy. And nowhere at any point while we were in Worldwide were we ever told that they would receive some sort of compensation on the app. Time and time again, we were told these apps purely run and make Worldwide the building function, that I pay the staff.
Yeah. See, I think with this compensation thing, like I was saying, how people, this is like we talked about ideology and brainwashing in one of our last episodes. When you hit double eagle ruby, you basically assume that you're brainwashed enough, if that makes sense. So then they start disclosing this information to you. But before that, you're not ready to hear it, which is something they would say all the time. You're not ready for that information yet.
Yes, they really would. So this starts at platinum.
Yeah, this starts at platinum.
So
you're indoctrinated enough at that point, or they would assume so.
That you're getting this information and you're not allowed to disclose that to your downline. I am just thinking about my platinums that I had. So my Eagles who went platinum, John and Barbara.
Yeah.
Okay. John and Barbara were they went platinum. And I'm curious, do they tell people who are on the cusp of their platinum ship that this is going to happen? Because my upline, Jenny and Greg, purely because of their downline, they were halfway to platinum when I had left.
Yeah.
But all my downline left, so they had to go rebuild that shit. But anyways.
Another topic that we're going to be able to talk about is rebuilding a leg, because this third party person was a double eagle ruby under Don and Mary, who was a part of their diamond ship and double diamond ship.
That's right.
And they quit. So that's a huge deal. So I don't remember if we've ever talked about the parameters, but basically like Sapphire, I talked about briefly, is 2 platinum legs. Emerald is 3 platinum legs. Diamond is 6 platinum legs. Double diamond is 12 platinum legs. Oh, and then you have EDC in there, which is 9 platinum legs. So if you lose one of those legs, that's a huge deal. Like that's a bunch of dollar bills, because they want you to go platinum because you break off into your own business. I don't really know how that works. I'm not gonna lie. I can't really talk about how you break off. Like I don't know how that comes with
So
it.
platinums, they break off because they become their own LLC. So until you reach platinum, your platinum actually owns your business. And I found this out because fucking Jenny told me, this dumb bitch who knew that my boyfriend was cheating on me for a whole fucking month and didn't tell me until we sat down the next time at a fucking Starbucks.
Oh, right. I do know this story.
Yeah. And she was in the room with me when I gave birth to my second child. So yay, Jenny. She did mention, so I had this crazy ass woman that I talked to. I don't remember who I was talking to about it. But I had this crazy ass woman that I fucking did not like. Her boyfriend launched. She did not. I don't remember my alias for her, but
Spring leadership lady.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, I was told that I was not allowed to decide who was and was not in my business because I did not own my business. My platinum did.
Yeah.
So you are owned by your platinums until you go platinum and you break off as your own LLC. And then you build your own LLC from there. Mm-hmm. That is my understanding as to how it works.
I think so, yeah. And in order to be a platinum, you have to be what's called a silver. There's so much. I'm talking about it now. Like, this is fucking whack.
A silver and then a gold. And then you eventually become platinum when you have been they call it a Q12 platinum, where you have qualified Q for 12 months, 12. So Q12 platinum. And that's when you get to go to the Amway headquarters or whatever. Like it's hugely celebrated because then when you become a platinum, you become a whole ass leg to push your upline into diamond ship. So when a diamond loses even a platinum, let alone a double eagle ruby, this is huge because that knocks them out of their whatever diamond qualification that they're in. In fact, there was a couple from Portland. I don't have an alias for them, but if you know this and have heard of this couple, they're an older couple from the business. They've been around for a while.
Did they just go diamond again?
They went diamond. Yep, they went diamond again, but they are a huge reason for the cross-lining rule because people were cross-lining in their organization and they lost multiple platinum legs. So they lost their whole ass diamond ship and it took them years to rebuild. But this is how serious that these people take this. But I'm starting to think now that not only is it important for their diamond ship for Amway, but how much fucking money are they making off all these people who have all the fucking apps and they push these apps? You're not allowed to launch into business unless you can can actually pay for Communicate. You can pay for Premier membership, which also includes standing order. Like standing order is a whole separate payment, but it all comes out in the Premier membership.
Yeah.
And at least I think that that's how it works. So don't quote me if that's not how it works. But
sorry,
like,
did you say standing order? Yeah. Sorry.
Okay. No, it's okay.
Yeah.
And again, like we talked about, you buy the books from this app. You have audios from this app. You buy your tickets from this app. This is tickets for functions, you guys. Like this is huge. But and we can go back to rebuilding in a minute, but I want to hear more about how else they allege that they're getting paid.
Yeah. So this third party said 2 platinums quit underneath their leg when they quit. So like losing a double eagle ruby is bad enough, but losing 2 platinums and a double eagle ruby is hard. So B says that you guys were crushing it. I would have thought you would have been the next diamonds. Like you were doing so good. And he's like, yeah, big time. Like I was making $120,000 a year being a ruby, which isn't unrealistic. It just got way busier. And then Dawn made things really complicated. And I totally forgot about this because I broke off with Nolan and Rianne's diamond ship. So Nolan and Rianne kind of started bringing some things in, but they were their own flavor of Worldwide, if that makes sense. But they still pulled things from Dawn and Mary because they were still their upline, right? So there were certain things that Dawn started doing. Like we did something called a pip bip. I think we talked about that. A pre-interview process board plan. That's what it was called. And then we had Dropbox. We had like it got really complicated. All the meetings, like paperwork and stuff was on there. It was just like not a lot of people in Worldwide were necessarily young or like technologically advanced. So like the black box, which is where we had all our paperwork and books and stuff before, kind of worked. So it was like Don just tried to complicate things and it got kind of messy, if that makes sense.
He likes to be the innovative one because aren't Dawn and Mary the ones who created the process?
Yeah, they created the process. Yeah. So they are the ones that did the meet and greet, just hello. You do form in the meet and greet. Second meet and greet, you show the plan, and then you go to a board plan, then you follow up, board plan, follow up, board plan. And hopefully in that process, they go to a major function. It changed. I just remember this. Oh my gosh. Before we left, it changed where they had to go to a major function before you offered them their partnership.
Really?
Yeah, it was free, right? Because they're guests. So
really? Wait, guests were free?
Guests were free for major functions, yeah.
Oh, that's wild because I paid to go.
So did I.
My first major function as a fucking guest.
Yeah.
I paid like $175 to $200. I don't remember how it was, but it was family reunion. And that was I'm pissed.
That one's the most expensive.
Well, family reunion and spring leadership just because of the fucking driving that we had to do.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we didn't have that much driving. We did have to get a hotel, but we always stayed at like a travel lodge.
So wait, seriously? They made us stay at like the nicest 5-star hotel. Like they're like, oh, we have a deal with them. And they would stick like 6 of us in a room. And I'm pretty sure that's not legal, but we would all split like a $600+ room amongst like a bunch of people. And it would end up costing like $100 a person.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay. So Nolan is extremely cheap. It's a well-known thing. He is just a very cheap man. Took Rianne on their first date to Edo with a coupon. Like she married him. Like he's notoriously cheap. He was my favorite. Even to this day, if I ever see him, I'm gonna be like, dude, you seem so authentic. Like, because he was just like, he was really self-conscious and like socially aware. Like it was just, it's kind of hard to believe all of this stuff because he was so good at tricking us, or like he actually feels a lot of pain because Rianne is so overbearing, if that makes sense. Like she is the star of that couple. You know what I mean? He's very secondary. He didn't like, you know what I mean? If you ever hear this, sorry, dude, but that's the truth.
But you really do think about that kind of stuff because what's really interesting is I had somebody reach out to me and they say that they liked their diamond because their diamond was so genuine to them. Yeah. But it's like, if that person could know that their diamond was lying to them, and I know that they're probably going to hear this, and I'm so sorry to break it to you, but like, you can still like your diamond. That's okay. You think about the people that are like supposedly so genuine. I literally am looking in my entire upline. I cannot for the life of me think of anybody who was fucking genuine, because when I look back, I'm like, when I first met John and Barbara, John was in the hospital. Like I remember doing meet and greets with her. Back then they were called QI 1 and 2. I don't remember what the fuck that was from. Yeah, it was weird. This is before the process. So they hadn't started the process yet. They had just barely started a process when I was there, when I first joined. And so I did meet and greets with her in the hospital, like when her husband was in the hospital, and she's just this little Asian lady, and and her husband is equally as short. Like they just look and people say, oh, they're just so Christian. They're just so nice. But when I look back, they could very easily be some cunning people. Like that, it doesn't surprise me that they got eaten up by this fucking organization and became evil. Like, so that's how I feel about them.
And that's like another thing, like I shit on religion a lot. Don't get me wrong, but I genuinely believe Christianity is beautiful in its purest form. I think it is. I think Islam is. I think Judaism is. I think Buddhism is. I think all religions are beautiful in their purest form. It's when people start taking that information and manipulating it to fit their own agenda, which is what there's a difference between Christianity and churchianity, which is what's happening. There's like this whole culture of church that isn't actual pure Christianity, because if you read the Bible, it doesn't make sense the way that it's translated. So you hear about these like Christian people and you think they're good people, because when I was growing up, I never met a Christian that was mean. I had some that were judgy. Don't get me wrong, they were super judgy, but they weren't mean. They actually wanted goodness and to help people, and they would do missions trips and stuff like this. And you hear about these ultra rich Christians like through this organization, you know what I mean? Like you have Don and Mary and Nolan and Rianne who are crazy religious, like crazy.
Well, yeah. I mean, and I think we talked about this before, that they had a church event at Worldwide Functions. Like that was a thing. Religion was very huge in Worldwide. And I have to agree, everything can be good. It's the people who, like you said, they contort it into such a negative thing. And that's, I think, why it sucks that they're using that as like an image. Like they are wolves in sheep's clothing. They try to say, oh, we're so philanthropical. Well, I don't even know what the word,
I feel like that's a word.
They donate a lot. They give their money away is what they say. And it's like, you look back and I don't know how much of that is actually fucking true. I don't know that they've ever spoken specifically to a foundation or something that they donate to. And maybe they do donate, but I think that they fabricate these stories because they want people to get you in your heart. They want you to think that they're the most genuine people in the world. But I feel like genuine people who are giving a lot of their money away are not lying to their downline about making money off these apps. And
for sure.
So real fast, going back to these screenshots. So there was another way that they were getting paid, wasn't there? Something that we were told that they absolutely were not getting paid to do, but they were alleged by this third party person.
So that's why they took cash at the door. Allegedly, this is why they took cash at the door. I did some quick maths, and I guess functions are $20 a person now, which is insane.
Yeah, like rallies.
A regional for a couple, I don't know. A regional is $40 a person. So I guess that would be $80,000 for Don and Mary's organization, because they have 2,000 people in their organization. I don't know now though, because Nolan and Rianne broke off, but they had 2,000 people in their organization.
Even if they had 1,000 people, that's still
a ton of money.
Ton of money
that they make from one function. That's a lot of dollar bills, and they make all of it. Because the thing is when because Worldwide's a business, it has employees, it has like a website, like it has people that run it, it has its own office. Like Worldwide is a business, they have a marketing team, they have this stuff. When I have anything for my work and I have to go to a hotel, my work is paying for it, you know what I mean? So I think Worldwide is paying for it, so they have to be taking a portion for sure, but I don't think that's what we were paying for. This is all my brain saying that, though. I'm making this up out of my own brain, but I'm inferring from experience as well. So, but I genuinely believe that Worldwide would have paid for the hotel, because they had to pay before you go there. They don't pay after the event. When I paid for my wedding, I didn't pay after, I paid before. Like, you have to pay before. So why are they collecting the money? And why is it cash? Like, these are things to think about. Like, if you are like currently right now in the business, just start thinking about things. Maybe miss a major function, which you won't because you're brainwashed like I was.
Yeah.
But if you do, you'll get it, because you'll start to snap out of it.
Yeah.
But yeah. So they were making money off of functions.
And allegedly they were getting paid to speak at these major functions, which is really interesting. Oh, there's also this one, I had posted it in my story recently, where they had a post of some sort from somebody who worked at Communicate, who was alleging that people were making money from these apps and that it's a big alleged scam, per this employee who worked for the company who owns Communicate. So it's like people are coming out of the woodwork speaking about this kind of stuff. And allegedly, this person says that as a Ruby, they were making $3K to speak at these functions. I would imagine that that's a major function. In my humble opinion, that's what I think when they say function. I think that would be a major function. But they're still probably getting paid to do these rallies too. Taylor, the club owner, said that they were making $600K at Emerald. $700K at Emerald is what they were making. And now as diamonds, they're making millions, like multiple millions, but not per Amway's compensation plan. And I know this is, again, we have to say alleged for legal purposes because I'm not out here trying to get sued. But in my opinion, I want to know, why is Worldwide hiding this information? If you're in the business now or know somebody who is in the business now and can tell me and show me where on the Worldwide website is this being disclosed? Where in the Communicate app is this being disclosed? Are they telling you this at major functions now that they are getting paid on these events? Because here's the thing, Worldwide as a whole has not changed. In fact, there's this documentary that Taylor, he was on the podcast previously from URA, let me know of a documentary that he mentioned in the episode that was a Dateline exclusive exploring Amway and Quickstar. And that was way back when it was Amway Quickstar, which again, they don't even fucking talk about that at all. And so when you look at this documentary, I literally told him, I was like, this documentary could have very easily been a recent function because it's all the same. They're chanting freedom. They're wearing the suits and the ties. The stupid upline on stage are just spreading bullshit. That's all.
My dad used to do that to me. My dad used to chase me around the house and be like, freedom. And I was like,
my dad too. God. But it's like you look at that Amway as a distribution company is the same, right? But their products changed, right? They're always trying to be new and innovative. And that's Amway as a distribution company. But you look at Worldwide, the only things that have changed are the fact that previously, allegedly, this is based too on that Life After MLM podcast that they were talking about how they get paid from the tapes. So not only were they getting paid for the tapes, but it has evolved. They have now entered into social media apps. And these diamonds, some of them are on TikTok. Dawn and Mary are on fucking TikTok. And it's like, when we were told not to have social media.
I do want to talk about this story too, about Dawn and Mary's.
Oh shit. Yes. Do it.
I don't know.
This is huge. Do it.
This is what's like, again, super deceptive. So when we were in the business, I think 2016, 2017, Dawn and Mary were really big into missions trips and going to Africa and helping underprivileged people. And they eventually wanted to adopt, I think, something they were just really philanthropic. I think they were just, going and doing a lot of stuff. But then they met this one lady who was an adult, a young adult, and she had a really hard upbringing. So her parents died, and then her grandma tried to throw her in a river and kill her, and she was a failed abortion. I remember this. Yeah, it was a really intense story. This woman was literally been through hell. Mary heard her story and was like, "You're coming back to Canada with us," and took her in, gave her a place to live, and had her take care of a few things around the place, like the house and stuff. I wouldn't necessarily say a maid. I feel like that's kind of I don't really feel like that's what she was, because they were actually trying to help her. She might have been a maid. See, again, I'm still trying to see the best in these people. Yeah, so this third party guy, that leg died, completely died. They were like, yep, there's no more of this leg. We cannot revive you. So allegedly, according to this third party person, Dawn had to work backwards in that leg. So basically bottom up. And yeah, Dawn bought PV for that leg under that girl's account, his housekeeper made, to keep that leg active as a platinum leg. This third party kept his account alive, his Amway account alive, and saw that Dawn was purchasing under this leg.
That's 7,500 PV plus that he's buying. Well, I mean, he can fucking afford it with all that app money, but he's buying $7,500 worth of PV, saying it's his maid, allegedly saying it's his maid.
That's a lot more.
That's
100 PV is $300. You know what I mean?
So just 7,500 PV. So you imagine 100 PV is what, $300 is what they say.
Yeah.
But he was allegedly paying some amount of money to keep. Well, okay, so I would imagine that
maybe,
he probably maybe was making up the difference.
Yeah, he could have been making up the difference. That would make more
But still,
sense.
that maybe $20,000 in PV, and there has to be. It's a large amount of money to pay the difference because you still had legs, I'm sure, but you had the platinum itself leave. So it's like you have to imagine there's still probably people that are in the business. So the 3 million. 3 million's a lot, probably not that much, but he's paying allegedly the difference to keep this leg a platinum leg, which ultimately has to be 7,500 PV. So even if he's paying 1,000 PV, because he's probably not paying retail.
Yeah, or he's buying properly. Because like I remember Double X was like $100 or $150, and it was like 75 PV. Like you could be buying like efficiently. You know what I mean? Because that's what we would do some months to hit our ditto. We would just be like, okay, what can we get for the lowest dollar amount for the highest PV? So it could be like, oh, I'm just buying a shit ton of vitamins because those were the best ROI. So it could be that. So that story bummed me out, man. I heard that story about that woman. I feel like you're exploiting this woman, you know. And
I mean, this woman, your downline.
Yeah.
This is just so crazy to me. So basically what's being alleged to us, let's break this down, that a platinum leg dropped from Dawn and Mary's business. Okay. Now we don't know if it's the entire leg. It's probably just the platinum themselves who dropped off. That means that there is no longer a platinum leg there. There's a bunch of like little dots and specks floating around into place, but there's nothing to tie them together. So that would knock them out of a qualification. So what this man allegedly did was he was building back up this platinum leg. And while he was doing it to be able to still qualify as whatever pin level they were at the time, he was paying the difference in PV amount and putting it in his maid's name. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Even if this is alleged, you guys. I can't imagine. Like here being in the right. Like this kind of information. And again, if you want to join Worldwide, you are more than welcome to. We are not saying don't join, but I think it's okay for you to know that this information is being alleged about this organization. And it's nowhere to be found on the internet. Let's unpack this. Dawn and Mary have this big diamond ship. Now, we don't know what pin level they were allegedly at when this allegedly happened. Okay, I don't think I could say alleged enough. But basically what this person is alleging happened was that they lost a platinum leg. Now, when you think of a platinum leg, you have to think one person is like the net that holds all these little bubbles together. Okay, well, the net is now broken. So which means you lost your platinum, but the whole leg itself is probably still there. So in order to maintain whatever qualification they were in, so in order to keep this leg together, okay, Dawn allegedly pays the difference to keep this as a platinum leg. I'm throwing the word allegedly out there. And I'm going to say this the way that I said it before. We're not saying don't join Worldwide. We are not saying that this is the worst organization in the world. In my opinion, it is. In my opinion, these are scam artists. Okay. But even still, I personally would not want to join an organization that has these types of allegations. Okay. And again, people are speaking on this anonymously because they're afraid. Okay. They're given this information at a certain pin level. This person was a high enough pin level to get this sort of information that they were trusted with not to tell anybody. Well, this person left. Not only did they leave, they were blacklisted because when they left, a couple of their downline left too, which are those platinum legs that were gone. I guess it's like, how can you hear all of this information and stay around that business? In my opinion,
I do get it because they told us the world was wrong. They told us they were right, but the world was wrong. Like, that hurts so much to think about because we can't save these people. They have to realize it on their own. Yeah. That's the hardest part, I think, about like doing this podcast and like being like, listen to us, please. Because it's like, I know how convincing they are. I was in it, you know, and you think they're good people and they convince you that the world is evil but there still is good people out there. So they keep saying, they're like, there still is good people out there. Don't worry. And it's us. us. We'll take care of you.
Yeah. It's like
And
an
then,
abusive
like,
relationship.
Yeah,
And
for
when you're
sure.
in it, you don't know. Like you have no clue.
Yeah.
In fact, I was reading something recently where this person was talking about what was going on at home, right? And the person, like their friend told them like, hey, this is abuse. And they're like, no, it's not. Like, it's fine. And that's because they have been groomed to believe that this is normal for them. It's normal for your significant other to punch a fucking hole in the wall on a daily basis. It's normal for them to lie to you. Okay. That is the same thing that is going on in worldwide and these different organizations, is that they are grooming these people. And you have to look at the way that they fucking do this process. I know that when I was in, I didn't know it was Amway until I was already so fixated on this. And by the time I heard the word Amway, it rolled off my back like fucking water because I'm an Oregonian duck or whatever, it literally did not faze me when my dad was like, no, this is stupid. Like, this is not okay. This is a cult. This is bad. Like, don't do this.
That's what they tell you. They tell you to beware of those statements because they're like, everybody in the world is going to tell you that it's a scam, but it's not. Trust us. Don't trust the people you knew your whole life. They were millionaires. We are. They've
been divorced. They don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah. Like the best case scenario in this business, once you leave, is that they hurt you financially. That's the best case scenario. The worst case scenario is that you have to go through therapy with a trauma therapist who has specifically dealt with cults.
It's true though. It's so true. Like you think, and Fisher said it in one of our previous episodes, that you can literally lose your 20s to these people. And then by the time you're out, you are so confused about life because you literally spent years. A lot of people, some people get out early, like thank goodness. Like I'm so happy for those people who get out early, but some of us ran for years, multiple. And during those years, we were stunted in our actual life growth. They tell you don't buy a house, don't finance a car, live with your parents if they're supportive enough. Like during that period of time, you're not a grown-up. You're not an adult. And then by the time you get out, you're confused on even like buying products at the grocery store. I know I heard of a story of someone who had a panic attack buying items at the grocery store because they're like, am I allowed to do this? Should I do this? Because we were so condemned from buying brand X. We're so ingrained to buy Amway products. Like, you guys, this is serious stuff. And people look at it and they're like, oh, well, it's different from like Jonestown, or it's different from these really extreme cults. But is it really though? Like, are they?
There is like, I don't know, like I still had some okay times in Worldwide. Like I was pretty happy. There is a really good sense in pursuing yourself for something greater. That journey is really empowering to be a part of. But again, like I said, the best case scenario is that they hurt you financially, because to find out what you were pursuing was nothing. Like you work so hard for so long and you don't have anything to show for it except for shame that you feel when you talk about it, because you were that trick. That's messed up. Like
it really is.
And you hear about this, like you hear about the fact, like we kind of knew, you know what I mean? Like everybody kind of like had, when you quit, you kind of know that they're getting paid, right? And you're like still kind of sometimes like, well, maybe they were telling the truth. Like I don't know if they actually know what they're doing. You give them the benefit of the doubt, thinking they're just naive to the system, and maybe it's just the founders that knew. If you know, and you just try to give your diamonds the benefit of the doubt, but to find out it's your platinums that know, like that's a huge slap in the face. Like how did everybody keep this secret? Did they have to sign an NDA? Like,
oh, that's a good point. I never considered that.
I like there has to be a certain like, or you're that brainwashed that you're like, don't tell anybody because then they'll quit. And then you lose your platinum ship if you tell anybody.
Yeah.
Like that could be their tactic.
Right. And I wonder what that conversation like looks like. And I think about that too, where I'm like, these platinums are people who are like crying with you when you are depressed. I mean, John and Barbara were sitting on, Barbara, she was sitting on the phone with me while I was like distraught because I had this very abusive mother and it was going through it at the time. I had just left Kyle. Like I was fucking going through it and she was on the phone with me. Like you would think that she was the most genuine person in the world. And I think back on the honeymoon phase and I think it's true. I mean, even in my abusive relationship, like I had such good times. Like if I could go back to a couple of moments in time, kind of the way Meredith had said in her episode, like my my first spring leadership would be one of them. That was an amazing time because we were all friends. It was like, we were all the same age. Nobody really knew anything. Like the manipulation hadn't started really yet. Like it was a good time, but I have those same moments with my ex Kyle. There was a good 3 months is all it was, but it was like 3 months where it was like, we were out doing stuff and it was the best time of my life. And it's like, but those moments become so few and far between because you either grow with the manipulation and you never realize that you're being manipulated, or you realize you're being manipulated when it feels like it's too late. Like something big is usually what happens for people to leave. But I think COVID had really helped a lot of people leave. I know Meredith talked about it. Jess talked about it. You guys talked about it.
It's a hard thing to explain because love and respect got me thinking, about like, are these people good people? Because good people don't think these things. Bad people think these things. But I still wanted to be rich. So I basically tried to convince myself that I could build my own platinum ship and start teaching other things and tell them that love and respect is bad, and that way I could still build the business and I could still be helping people but help them know that this book is really bad. Like that was kind of my goal, is like, I just, I could still help people and still be an atheist, like there was one platinum leg that we knew that was an atheist. So that was it. So I was like, maybe I can be an atheist and be a, something. None of the diamonds, 0% of the diamonds were an atheist. They were all Christian or, I think it was all Christian, actually. I don't think it was anything else.
All Christian. Like I think about the big crown guy. He would say, if you want to come and speak whatever you want on stage, build the business and you'll be able to do it. And it's like, I don't think with as good of intentions as a lot of us, like you had hope, like, I don't think they would have let us.
I know.
Or by that time, you're brainwashed to not think the way that you did. Or
I know. And that's like, I was on maternity leave. Yeah. So I had 35 weeks, Fisher and I could split. Fisher had to take 5. So when I was on maternity leave, they do only 55% of your income. That's what the government pays you. If you do 18 months, they pay you 33% of your income. So it's not a lot of money. And I was a waitress. So I literally had no money. I was making $330 a week. Like that was nothing. I think my income from EI was just covering rent. So I had child tax, which is another thing that we have in Canada, that when you have a child, based on your income, you get whatever amount to provide for your child. So mine was $450 for my son. But basically all of our income was relying on Fisher. We couldn't afford $1,000 a month for Ditto. We couldn't do it. And that's what I think that's what got us out, because we moved to a bigger house. So we're like, oh, we're a family now, let's move somewhere bigger. And when we moved out there, the rent was $250 more expensive. And then we were like, okay, we can't even afford premium membership at this point. Like Ditto was always hard, but premium membership was really hard. And I was kind of done. Like I wasn't clearing Kate. I wasn't listening to my audio. I wasn't reading. I wasn't doing anything. I didn't want to go to functions. I wasn't even going to board plans at that point. Like Fisher was still doing all of it. And then Fisher came to me where I was sitting out on the deck, and he came to me and he was like, we have to quit. I was like, really? I was like so happy. It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
So it was kind of COVID, kind of me having like legit no money. And yeah, it got me out. I don't know if you remember so-and-so's audio, The Why. Do you remember that?
Yes. Okay. Good Lord. Yeah, I do.
So in that audio, he says that the wealth gap is smaller than it ever has been. And the wealth gap is basically from the bottom to the top, okay? At this time that he recorded this, it was early 2010s, late 2000s, something like that. The wealth gap was the smallest it's ever been. And today in 2023, it's the biggest it's ever been. That's kings to peasants, okay? That is incredibly large. Point of the matter is, people will do anything for money because we have created a system where people have to do everything they can for money, which created this system like Worldwide, like Amway, that burned us all because they were lying about their income. They had to lie about their income to get us on board.
Allegedly.
Mm-hmm. And that's that's so freaky, okay? That people do anything for money, and don't think that people won't sell you out, because they will. because
Oh
they did
yeah.
to us.
I mean, that's one of their questions is, are you willing to do what it takes, whether that's scooping manure with your bare hands? And you're so right. I mean, mic drop, because you nailed literally the nail on the head. I mean, that was a fantastic point. I don't know that it gets any better than that. I don't know how to follow up with that.
Thanks, ma'am.
But that's okay. So we're coming on an hour. And here's the thing, you guys, this is not the last of our Amway conversations. This is not the last of our worldwide conversations, because the thing is that there will never even be able to barely scrape the surface with everything that we went through in worldwide, what other people are still going through in worldwide, what has been done. I'm not going to stop talking about it. Hope's not going to stop talking about it. None of the people who have come on my podcast are going to stop talking about it, because here's the thing. We have a right to speak about it. We have the right to speak our opinions, things that are alleged to us. We're able to share that information. And again, if you want to join, like, that's up to you. I hope that at the very least, this gave you something to chew on for a little bit. Think about it. If you like worldwide, great. I'm so happy for you. I'm glad that you had a different experience than we did. But let me tell you, I don't think it's fair for Upline to be lying to us the way that they did, allegedly. So I just want to say thank you so much for literally coming. Like, you ran to me with this information.
Yeah.
You were available to record this next day. And I am just so grateful that you and Fisher are here fighting the good fight with us. And we love having you. My whole audience loves you guys. You guys are definitely a favorite around here.
I love
but that's
that.
not to say everybody else can come back too.
It's because I'm super funny.
No, you are. You get passionate, and so does Fisher. And I think that those types of personalities are really what I think is what people listen to and they want to hear. So if you guys want to reach out to us, DM the X's&T _ podcast on Instagram, X's&T _ podcast on TikTok. We have a YouTube channel. I'm trying my best to keep it uploaded. So sorry if there's a pause in between, but check us out, you guys. If you have a story to share, if you have information that you want to share, we can keep you anonymous. If you want to come on the podcast and be anonymous, we even have a voice changer app that we can recommend for you to use. We did use that for Allison and John when they talked about the Potter's House. So with that being said, I really hope you guys enjoyed this episode, because it was chock full of the tea. Because you know what, guys, we're all X's of something. And that's why we are the X's&T podcast. So thanks again so much, Hope, for coming back. I really appreciate your time. All right, everybody, we'll catch you in the next episode.